Good morning, Britain. Brace yourselves. The British gas owners Centrica are set to reveal billions of pounds in record annual profits. Britain's largest energy supplier will be in the spotlight again this morning after a year of soaring customer bills and weeks after suspending the forced installation of prepayment meters.
And here is one of those prepayment meters forcibly installed at the end of last year. Centrica might be set for a bumper payday, but the family who live here tell me this has put them seriously out of pocket.
Police investigating the disappearance of mum of two, Nicola Bulley, say they were forced into revealing that she had issues with alcohol brought on by her ongoing struggle with the menopause.
Yeah, police have revealed more details than they would normally do in a case like this, mainly to counter any speculation. But they say it's still their working hypothesis that Nicola Bulley fell into the River Wyre.
Time to make way for someone else. The words of Nicola Sturgeon after her surprise resignation as Scotland's First Minister. Now, the race is on to find her replacement.
Well, Nicola Sturgeon quits the top job with no clear path to independence or an obvious successor.
And we meet the man who was paralysed from the chest down after a climbing accident and who's now made history by becoming the first wheelchair user to complete 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 different continents.
Plus, remembering Vivienne Westwood on the day of her memorial from a man who met his Sex Pistols bandmates in her shop. Glenn Matlock will be discussing memories and new music this morning.
And when it comes to our weather story over the next 24 hours, it's going to take more of a dramatic turn. All that and more on Good Morning Britain.
Thursday, 16th of February, 2023, live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Ranvir Singh and Ed Balls.
Hello there, a very good morning to you. The thought that a Sex Pistols band member is going to be live on the TV programme makes any live presenter feel nervous, right?
Can I say, it is our second Sex Pistol in a month or so, because we had Johnny Rotten on.
Yes, of
just
course.
in January as well. He was bidding to be the Irish Eurovision Song Contest.
He was.
Didn't make it, but it was a great song. And now today...
Yeah, Glenn Matlock on to talk about Vivienne Westwood. Yet last night, in preparation for this, I went back and revisited the 1976 live TV interview that the Sex Pistols did. On an ITV show, actually.
You were too young to see her.
I was born the year after.
I thought so.
But honestly, it's one of the most extraordinary, I think, it's never been matched yet in live television, certainly not in this country, in terms of the explosive nature of it. They swore, they were outrageous. A Queen were booked to be on that TV show that day.
I wonder if we can show a clip. It'd be great.
I don't know if we can. We did ask our producer, but I don't know how much bleeping you have to do
before the end of the programme.
In it. But I mean, it's extraordinary that this many years on, would he have won? You know, could they have believed
the thing
that
was,
40 odd years they'd be on breakfast television?
You weren't born.
Chatting?
You weren't born. I was 10 years old, and I remember the Sex Pistols and that emergence of punk onto our television, onto Top of the Pops, the Sex Pistols, where they just put their instruments down, or Gary Newman and Tubey Army. And when it happened, I mean, it was shocking.
It rocked the nation.
Nobody'd ever seen anything like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was amazing.
I mean, it was quite frightening, actually. It was scary.
Yeah, because they were fearless.
Amazing.
Yeah, fearless. And I mean, it'd be fascinating to talk to him later. Of course, talking about the Earth moving a little bit, I mean, Nicola Sturgeon's announcement yesterday, when it came up on my phone, I was like, what? You know, it was a shock to me. Ed, to you, when you listened to her, you know, very reflective speech. Of course, the joy of having you on this show is that we get a very unique perspective for our viewers. She talks about the brutality of political discourse. She talked about never having a moment of privacy, about the toll it's taken on those around her as her main reasons. Did you identify with that? What did you think when she was saying those things?
I think that was very powerful and emotional, heartfelt. I think, the intensity of what she's gone through, the draining nature of it, as she said, the brutality. I mean, I see that. I've lived through that. I think things have got worse as the years have gone on. I thought it was a surprising statement because it didn't quite add up to me. She was very keen to say, I've been thinking about this for months, but it happened in such a hurried way.
And the context, of course, is that gender recognition bill and the controversy over a rapist being put in a female prison. He was a man and then transitioned to being female. And that has been... But she wanted to say it wasn't a single issue that had broken the back of her resilience. I
think that is one issue. The fact that the SNP are falling in the polls, the strategy for independence feels to be pretty chaotic.
Well, the referendum has been vetoed by Westminster. Yeah.
But also the SNP are being investigated for financial irregularities around a large donations made for the referendum campaign, which now seem to have been used for something else. I wonder, looking at this, if there is something else which we don't know about yet. I've got to say, it doesn't quite add up to me. But the thing about those moments, and it happens in politics, when somebody resigns, especially a leader, everything goes into turmoil. Suddenly, in Scottish politics, in UK politics, suddenly the world turns upside down.
Yes, it does.
Who is going to be the leader of the SNP? What does it mean for Scottish independence?
And the Labour Party,
excited,
because it means that they've got one Labour MP up in Scotland. They've really suffered where they should have had a heartland, and now this is their chance, perhaps, to steal the thunder there.
Although I think, actually, as big an impact will happen in England.
You think?
Because if you think about 2015, when in the general election, when the Conservative attack on Ed Miliband was he was in Alex Salmond's pocket. Do you remember those posters which showed that really the SNP would be in control?
Yeah, it would break up
Labour.
The UK. Yeah.
And the same thing was done in 2019 around, if you vote for Labour, Nicola Sturgeon would maraud down from Scotland and there would be a coalition and take control.
The union is broken.
Whereas now, it's unlikely there's going to be a Scottish leader of the SNP who anybody in England has heard of.
No.
That fear campaign will be much, much harder for them to...
It's fascinating.
It's certainly very...
It was a very, very big moment. A very, very big moment. And we'll have much more, of course, on that. We've got Alex Salmond on the show in this hour.
Alex Salmond and the Sex Pistols. What more could you want?
And the Sex Pistols. But, of course, for you at home, potentially, this next story is the thing that really hits your heart in a way, because this is about our gas bills. Our main news this morning is that record annual profits of more than £3 billion are expected to be announced by the owner of British Gas, that's Centrica, in the next hour. That would be more than 3 times higher than their profits just a year ago.